Okay, so hello everyone. So I'm pleased today to welcome Joan Laur. So Joan is here this week because this is the international guided tour from for the Master 2 student. And as you probably know, there is some invited scientists that came from different places and for courses with the student, but also we benefit from their presence too for giving some talk. And so Joan, we know Joan for quite many years now because Joan was a student, a master student with us a few years ago. And after his master's, you decide to go to Canada and for a PhD, and you did your PhD, let me be sure, in Alberta.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you stay there after your PhD for an assistant position in 2010, I think it's okay. And then you move to Laval University, and Laval University, if I'm correct, this is in Quebec. Okay. And for a postdoc, a first postdoc, then you did a second postdoc in Montréal University. And now you are still at the Montréal University, sorry, since 2018. And you have a permanent position as an assistant professor, and you have your own team, and you benefit from some support from the Canada to develop your project. So we are pleased to welcome you. And now we are listening to your talk and to your work. Thank you for coming.
Yes, I just need to make a few changes here, maybe. Okay, I can't, do I? Okay, no. So yeah, I was trying to put a subtitle in French here because I'm an employee, an officer of the city of Montreal, and a professor at the University of Montreal, which is a strictly French-speaking university. So that's usually a nice way to use both official languages of Canada, to have subtitles in French and to speak in English, but I won't because that's not my computer and I'm kind of lost. But anyway, thank you, Jean-Philippe, for these words, and thank you for the invitation. And hello, everyone. Hugo, hello. As you can imagine, this is kind of an interesting and exciting moment for me to be here in that exact same room that didn't change at all for 15 years. And well, it's kind of emotional. So, well, as I said yesterday to Jean-Philippe and to Francis Carbone that I met in the corridor, nothing did change. I do recognize a few faces here. Elizabeth, you might not recognize me, but I do remember you quite well. So, well, this is it. Yesterday, I was with a student and I did talk a bit about my research and about what it is to be a researcher at the Botanical Garden of Montreal. During this presentation, you will see a few images of the Botanical Garden because, well, this is just a beautiful environment to work in. So, well, yes. But today, I will speak about this great Genome Canada project that actually just started 3 months ago. Yes, Hugo, it just started 3 months ago. You knew about it like a year ago. And this is a project that I'm leading at the University of Montreal, where I am assistant professor since 2021. So how do I go further here? Yeah. So, well, this is it, the first picture. So this is Jardin Gamelin in the middle of Montreal. This is a small garden that was designed by some of my colleagues at the Botanical Garden. Yeah, there will be plenty of pictures like that. But let's go back to 2022 when Genome Canada, which is a huge grant organization, did put on a major grant contest to translate genomic research and innovation into solutions to support Canada's agriculture sector and to decrease greenhouse gas emission of the world sector. So nothing less than that, kind of huge. Those kind of grants do not open every year or even every day. in Canada. So this is a major supporting things to build up new projects. And with a few of my colleagues, with Vanessa Grenier, my postdoc, and Louise Henault, who I just met the day this announcement was official, and who was just starting at the same time than me at University of Montreal. She was starting at the INRAE. We decided to try, and we did apply. So after months, almost a year of work, several rounds of evaluation, our projects, Omics to Close the Loop, ended up among the lucky 9 ones that were finally funded. And well, this is our really happy face in September 2023, when the announcement was official. Louise is here in green. On my side also, you can see Julie Jodoin, who is my boss at the City of Montreal. Behind us, there is the president of Genome Québec, Genome Canada, the lead of University of Montreal, and Greg Fergus there, who is le président de l'Assemblée nationale in Canada. So it was kind of cool to meet those people. And as you can see, I wear the same top than today, the same pants, because those one are my lucky ones. So yeah, this is it. And well, how come some young academics like us were able to get funded at that level? I would say, and this is not false modesty, this is not because of us, this is because of the project itself, and because of the whole community that did support it from the beginning. This is not usual. It's actually 25 different end users, organisms, institutions that did work with us to think about it like a fantasy, to create the loop. And well, they are all from Montreal. There are brewers, bakeries, urban farmers of all kinds, mushroom producers, edible insect producers, some interesting composting facilities, 2 secondary schools, of course, our own university. Some of my senior colleagues were also helping, power government agencies, and the City of Montreal itself was very supportive. So, well, all those people, almost 50 people working together, and what did we think about? It's quite a simple but true fact. The agriculture sector, the food production, transformation, the sales, the transport per se have a huge impact on the triple planetary challenge. Climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution, and in fact, Canada is one of the worst countries in the world in terms of waste production. In Quebec only, it's almost half of the food that is just lost. Easy idea, if we cut those loss, if we, agriculture is almost 15% of greenhouse gas emission. If we remove a part of this loss in waste, and if we improve waste management, 6% more of greenhouse gas production, we thought we could win, and that's actually what we did propose, and we did get it. We don't see everything here. I talk a lot about waste production, but of course we are not that bad in Canada. Almost 97%, almost 100% of our industrial agri-food waste is avoiding landfilling in Canada and go to, well, we don't see it here, but centralized composting facilities, biomethanization bioreactors. Not bad idea, maybe not the best one. It is indeed still food waste. Those proteins, those vitamins are just downcycled in that kind of process. And it also involved a lot of transport and a lot of pollution that you can even imagine is even bigger when we think about the winter in Canada. Everything that is moving does consume a lot of energy. So, and well, that's it. greenhouse gas emission in Quebec is still massively located around Montreal. And this is sad. This is kind of a nonsense because Montreal is a champion of low-tech based climate solution. Hugo, when you were here, I think last year, you were just amazed about how many things that we are doing in the city. So, so here again, a picture of the botanical garden. This is a treatment wetland plan that we did put in place maybe 3 years ago in what we call a new garden in the botanical garden, the pathway to phytotechnology. And it's a way to handle our gray and black water within the garden and to show to people, to citizens, to organizations that it's actually quite easy to handle gray and black water. So nothing related to Omics to close the loop, but yeah, just an example. And well, so just believe me, those people here definitely are doers. They do have a way to diminish our impact onto the ecosystem. And this is, again, in total agreement with the feuille de route of Montreal to be a zero waste, zero carbon neutral city by 2050. And our goal is also to be an expertise hub in what we call agri-food circular economy. And this is already happening. If you do think about it, until the 20th century, most of the food was produced around big city or within the city. It's not true anymore, even worse in North America. But in Montreal, we do have 55 and even today 60 urban farms. We do have hundreds of community gardens. Those facilities does feed thousands of people and families in Montreal. Actually, in 2020, we did find that the urban agriculture sector in Montreal was generating $400 million revenue per year, which is kind of huge. So I told you those farmers are doers and they do not need us, but we do believe that us scientists can help them optimize even further what they are doing. So, well, why is it that way? Because Montreal is the home of 5 different universities: University of Montreal, UQAM, University of Concordia, INRS, I'm missing one, yes, McGill. So this is huge. And well, this is the Institut de Recherche en Biologie Végétale in the middle of the Botanical Garden. Montreal is also the home of one of the most amazing botanical gardens in the world. This is maybe the 5th largest in the world. This is also the one that is the most further north. So you can imagine all the challenges that we have to face. And well, in that garden, a lot of transdisciplinarity work, a lot of collaboration, a lot of climate smart adaptation, and knowledge transfer to community, to the local community, is actually occurring for years. And I believe that it's because Montreal is the way it is that urban agriculture is rising so fast there. So, well, it's actually funny. When I did start as an assistant professor there, several of my grad students were also entrepreneurs involved in urban agriculture in my team, in team around me. Like a lot of people are just doers. And why those people are both farmers and students? Well, I told you, but because farming in Canada is quite tough. Our climate is just crazy. We have to deal with a lot of constraints, winter, pollution within Montreal. And if you want to design that kind of things, you have to be quite innovative, quite bold. This is the largest commercial greenhouse food production in the world. This is in Montreal. It's working 24/7 during the whole year, and there is actually today 6 of this kind of greenhouse in Montreal. It's actually feeding a lot of people there. So you just need to be bold and to be innovative to do that kind of stuff. And so those farmers, when they do see that huge amount of waste, for them, it's actually just an opportunity to upcycle that waste into new food through what we call urban agriculture circular economy loops, in which you can even circle back fertilizing byproduct into a nearby agricultural field. And when you do think about it, this is what is really happening in nature, where food waste is not a concept. It does not really exist. And we can just inspire us by what is happening in nature to design new approach for waste management. Bacteria, fungi, insects, animals, plants are all components of the food chain, and they are able to recycle all types of organic material into the ecosystems. So in the city, we can actually think about edible insect farms, gourmet mushroom farms, composting facilities that can be individual bioreactors that do process our waste. Well, like the digestive system of a human body, or like the digestive system of a cow, if we want to stay in the agricultural field, that does process feed to poop, make fertilizing byproduct, and to give us food, milk, and meat. So, well, this is it. This is nothing new. Those people at 3.6, at Mycelium Remedium, already use the waste of bakeries, of brewers, to feed their farm and to produce food in a complementary fashion. So this is an insect farm in the Central Agricole. This is a mushroom farm in the Central Agricole also. And this is a different kind of composting facility in Montreal, some of which are quite interesting because they are on-site composting facility. You do your waste and you compost them right away in the same building. So, well, things are already occurring in Montreal, I told you. The thing is, those people are operating their farm in kind of a black box mind. They do feed a mixture of waste at the beginning of the bioprocess they are using, and they have little scientific knowledge of the biological processes that are involved, on the biodynamics of the microbiota that are involved before, during, after the bioprocess. If things are spoiled, I told you, they just send that waste, which is still a waste, into nearby composting facilities. So we all together thought that we could improve both the food production quality and cut the carbon footprint of those farms even further by optimizing what they are doing. Actually, to waste less waste even by making better food products, better fertilizing byproduct. Our idea was that we could optimize the compost quality, but also the spent mushroom substrates that they are anyway producing, the frass, the insect poop that is coming out of this kind of farms, and that we needed to investigate even further for their property. Our idea was to use that kind of waste into a vineyard nearby Montreal, or even in what you heard about last year about phytoremediation trial and initiatives that are rising all around the city in Montreal. So, well, that was it. That was a selling pitch of Omics to close the loop. And you might still wonder what we will actually do in the next few years. It is definitely a project that is focused on deliverable for those 25 end users, but it's a project that is really open to the unknown, to the discovery. Well, lots of fun and lots of challenges ahead of us. I think normally I can zoom in that kind of thing. So this project is divided into 6 different sub-projects that we called activity, and that they are all related and have all start this summer in our different team. Can I move back? Yeah. Actually, the activity 6, which is the living lab and the knowledge transfer activity, did start years ago. This is what we did from the beginning, trying to understand how to boost the social and business dynamics that was already occurring, and that underlies this type of innovation. So all together, as scientists and our end user, our job will be to broaden the adoption of those initiatives through knowledge transfer activity to the general public, of course, for greater acceptability. Not everyone wants to eat edible insects. I'm not a big fan of insects. And also to develop knowledge transfer activity to decision makers. So how open those people are they to novel waste management concepts? We will also need to keep in mind during that whole 4 years that the tools that we are aiming to develop that will be really on the Omics approach have to be user-centered, user-oriented. They have to be slow-tech foot, understandable, accessible to anyone that wants to use them. So this is it for activity 6. The activity 1, replicable circular agri-cluster, also did start a long time ago, even before we were in the picture. That circular cluster is actually the waste of one is the feedstock of another industry. And this is actually what Mycelium remedium, Tricinc were doing, using the waste of Eto Brasserie, of Aricana, of Boulangerie Jarry, before we were even there. Montreal is a 500 kilometer square city. It's the home of 12 microbreweries, of 150 bakeries, of several companies that are producing fruit juice, vegetable, or that are transforming fruit and vegetables. What is the actual potential for scaling up those way to move things, to have materials that are flowing from one industry to another? What is the potential for scaling up this kind of industrial synergy? And what are the obstacles that we will have to face? The omics perspective that we are putting here, we honestly do not know if what we will develop will be that efficient to optimize things, to narrow down what is the optimal use of one waste or the other. And sorry, I have something here. But those wastes are home of a lot of microbes that might be helpers for one bioprocess, that might be pathogen for another one. And we will definitely need those tools to efficiently identify them and to optimize the flow. So that challenge is clearly on us at University of Montreal. And how much GHG emission can we remove? Does a good use of those omics tools that we are aiming to develop will optimize those exchanges that we are planning to see? those are just putative numbers from a current life cycle assessment analysis. Our colleague at INRS and Western University will make sure to have true numbers in the next few years with what we are doing to showcase how efficient those technology can be in Montreal and outside of Montreal, which is kind of our own living lab. So, well, yeah, carbon accounting will be also used to build new comprehensive lifestyle assessment analysis to add those net emission or those avoidance of net emission in our counting to present the true carbon footprint of those solution. Of course, we will use gas chromatography technology, elemental analyzer in the lab at the INRS. But our students at University of Montreal, Madeleine, Eddie, Crépin, Laetitia, Simon, will also use low-tech captors like Arduino captors that maybe you are using here in Toulouse. I remember some students were playing with that during my time. So they will use this kind of low-tech captor within our partner farms and in our greenhouse to also have numbers, reliable numbers. And yeah, where are the Omics tools in the middle of that? How can they be that beneficial to that project? Our objective is really to establish a first baseline characterization of what is happening in our procedure, in our partners' facilities. What are the different microbiotas that are involved in the pre-treatment of food waste in the bioprocess itself, and what is remaining at the end of that bioprocess in mushroom farm, in composting facility, and also in insect farm. That's activity 2. Activity 3 is building on the knowledge that we will get from activity 2 and from the observations that are already happening in our partners' facilities. We are aiming to identify some key components that we might plan to enrich or to modulate during the bioprocess themselves. So that will be a lot of fun during 3-4 years, hopefully. And well, at the end, we still have byproducts that are coming from those farms, and how can we use those byproducts to make even more food? They do contain NPK, macronutrients, and we can use them locally to fertilize rooftop, to remove carbon-intensive conventional fertilizers that we are still using in urban agriculture. And well, if the Omics data analysis reveals that they are enriched in beneficial microorganisms, but perhaps we can even use them to increase plant health and to decrease our use of pesticide within Montreal. So, well, this is it. Thank you for your attention. Thank you to all the team, my lab, and the co-researchers that are involved in that project. Voilà.
Thank you, Joan, for these talks. It's, maybe, I don't know, it's time for question now, so I don't know if somebody has some question. I have one.
Yeah.
For me, it's quite new because, this is, do you think this, the situation in Montreal is a really new one, or do you think do you know if there is also some initiative that exists in other big cities?
It does exist in,
Okay.
also in Vancouver, in New York. That's the kind of city where things are happening. There is a lot of urban agriculture that is also happening in France, around Toulouse,
Okay.
around Paris. But what is interesting is maybe the synergies that you can see in Montreal. I don't know if it's the same in other countries, but a lot of people are working really together. A lot of people, when I show picture, you could see my colleague Louise, that is an assistant professor like myself at the INRAE. She's also a lead of one of these kind of urban farms. I have 2 students that are urban farmers in my team. This is kind of funny to see that, and it's quite new. Nothing like that 10 years ago in Montreal.
Because when I listening to your talk, I'm thinking about what if we have to do something similar in Toulouse or in France? I don't know if the people are really used to do that. So I think there.
If I'm not wrong, a lot of us, well, at least when I was a student here, a lot of my prof were born in a farm, like I was.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us are from agricultural fields. So can we do the same in Toulouse? Do we need to do the same in Toulouse?
I don't know.
I don't really know.
Okay.
The thing is, Montreal is an island.
Yeah.
There is only 4 ponds to go, 4 bridges
From one
to
side
go.
to the
Yeah,
other
it's
side.
just a mess. So putting things on the island makes sense there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mais tu parles
Tu peux parler fort.
Yes, I have one question. It's related to what drives these actors to do this, because you never mentioned the economics of it.
Yeah.
And I guess as companies, they tend to never do things just because it's good for the environment.
Well, I say companies. Those are very small companies. It's microbreweries, a few guys working together at the beginning in a garage, and some of them are still in the garage, some other half building. So they didn't put any money in that project. They just put some times that count for money. And how come we get 6 million? It's because the amount of time that we are all putting together was equivalent to that. So yes, of course, we do hope this will be beneficial for their survey. Not really sure if it will work, but at least we will have fun in the next few years together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what are the actual causes of the 40% food waste? Because I feel that your way to tackle this problem is to optimize the food that is waste, but is there a way to reduce the waste, and what are the causes of this waste?
There is a lot of education to do in North America about waste. It's like when I came in North America, it was kind of, and I know you know that, but it's kind of a shock to see how the garbage is huge and gigantic, how much water we do waste, how a fridge can be half spoiled. That's a lot on the side of the consumer. And that's also a lot on the way industries. Canada is going well on an economical perspective for so long times. Optimization is not a thing there. You just do whatever you want and you spend the time, the kilometers, the energy that you want to do what you are doing. This is not the same. I grew up in the same countries and you do. Economic is always a problem and we have to optimize things. That's not the case in North America.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your talk. I'm interested for your conception of mushroom farm and insect farm. I'm wondering how possible that use the waste for this kind of farm, and actually what they use for. I think existed a mushroom farm because a producer of mushrooms, I think, is worldwide very well. They use the waste?
They do use the waste already. Gourmet mushroom, not the champignon Paris, is quite new in North America. It's not that popular. It's kind of a yuck effect for them to eat mushroom, the same way I do have a York effect with insect. I'm not that used to it. But so the people that did start those urban farms, the oldest one is 10 years ago, 10-year-old. They did start from the beginning with waste from a bakery. And so we are just keep going the way they are doing.
Okay.
There is so many challenges to face to open that kind of stuff. Well, when you go in, Monique Garde is not here, but when you go in a forest in Quebec, there is no one picking up mushroom. You're just only one, and it's just so different than here. So yeah.
Okay, if I understand well, that means you are breeding new mushroom that.
No, we are using the same mushroom that
Same
you are
mushroom.
using here, pleurote, shiitake, like the same ones that we are using here in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, but it's just so different than the North American concept. This is not food for most of them. So.
Okay, thank you.
Concerning the duration of this project, because you said that this project started 3 or 4 months ago, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So how will you get some money from, you have some money for that with your partner?
Yeah.
So, and for the duration of the project, what the financial support expect to have some data, some results?
So, that's already a struggle because the project was supposed, well, we have 9 projects that are starting in Canada. They were supposed to start a year ago.
Okay.
None of them did start at that time. It was just too much money, so fast for everyone. We are maybe the latest one because it's so difficult to make only contracts between university and those tiny little guys that have to read contracts that are 25 pages long. It's just so anxious for them. So it was late. We did start 3 months ago. The money was in our pocket 3 months ago, and Genome Canada is expecting to see things happening this year and for the next 4 years. Okay. But they are quite aware that that project was risky, so they do not push us that much. It's more publicity for them than anything else, and they know that we are still on the discovery page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for this talk. I would like to know how you plan to optimize the bioconversion processes. You were talking about omics and the characterization of the microbiome, but do you expect specific composition of this or to modify it or whatever?
The first thing that definitely what we can see in the farm is a lot of spoilage. Like you can see pathogens or rotten things happening quite easily. So the first thing will be to understand why it's rotten and what is rottening. Do we need to move things up to heat things or not? So very simple way to optimize things at the beginning. And we are indeed quite curious about what are the magic beyond those bioprocess, what is happening in a urban mushroom farm. Is it just full of that mushroom, or is it the same than in a soil where you got plants, of course, but some symbiosis with other fungi or with bacteria? We do not really know. So it's a lot on the discovery phase. And it's a lot like when medicine did the obvious thing, like clean our hands. At the beginning, what we will ask the farmer is to understand what is going wrong and why it's going wrong. Do they have to optimize the way they are doing their stuff? So, yeah.
Okay.
No more question? It's okay? So, okay. So thank you, Joan, for this talk and for us, it's a little bit different with what we are doing, but it's important to know what we can do. And I don't know, I'm sure that the Trois Brasseurs in France will be able to do something like that, but we can imagine that. So thank you a lot. Thanks.